I'm Emily Mata, and I haven't caught your name.
Hi, I'm Bryce.
Hi, nice to meet
Bryce
you, Bryce.
Rankins, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So, do you mind telling us a little bit about the piece that you have hanging up here?
Yeah, when they told me they were doing a Transformer show, my first Transformer was a little like Starscream that probably came out of like a Micro Machines or something. I don't know where it came from. It was my brother's. My first Transformers show was Beast Wars, which is... it's very much you're a 90s kid if your first Transformers was Beast Wars.
Yeah.
So I chose to represent that with two pictures of Dinobot, who is a Predacon who becomes a Maximal because the Predacons don't have honor. He's very honor-driven, very samurai-coded. He's my favorite. So I watched his like primary episodes, like, I don't know, 5 times each. And then I put together a couple of pieces.
Yeah, so how many pieces do you have in total?
Just 2 here.
Just 2?
There's a third one that I was working on in oil, but oil is tricky, and sometimes you paint oil and you're like, it's done, and sometimes you paint oil and you go, I will wait for the next 3 weeks until you're ready to get painted some more. So that's the way it went. Oil's not something I'm super familiar with, so I just went back to my old standby, which is ink.
Okay, so the piece is made, or the medium is ink for this piece.
It's mixed because I used gold ink on a roller, and then I had catastrophic failure in like 5 different ways. Like these 2 pieces nearly broke me for as simple as they are. My fountain pen died. My 2 microns stopped working. My brush pen didn't want to work. And so I finally pulled out my stamp refiller, squeezed it onto a plate until there was ink on the plate, and then I just went to it with a brush. And that was how I did it. And then I went and got some acrylic for some color pop, and there's some red acrylic and some green acrylic, and we're good. We made it.
It sounds like a lot of emotion went into this piece. Like
a
all this, like
surprising amount.
Well, speaking of emotions, how would you say that you feel about either one? Would you say that you're more a Decepticon or an Autobot, or where do you stand between?
I mean, I think I'm too much of a goody two shoes to be anything other than an Autobot. And if you'd asked me when I was a kid, I would have absolutely been a Maximal, and the Maximals are allegedly descended from the Autobots. So, like, yeah, those are my guys.
So who would you say is like your favorite, though? Like your favorite character, like
in any Transformer ever?
Any Transformer ever.
I think it is Dinobot, which he's not the one I relate to the most. Cheetor is definitely the one I relate to the most. He's hot-headed. He's immature. He's a little bit of a late bloomer, and he really is impulsive, but I respect the heck out of Dinobot. Like, you know, he's honor and strength and making sure that you're doing the right thing for the right reason. You know, I don't know. He's a samurai. I think that's very cool. So he's my favorite, but he's not necessarily the most related to me, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. So where did like this love of Transformers? Like, it seems like you have so much knowledge. Like, it sounds like years of knowledge.
There's a special place in my heart for Beast Wars specifically because Beast Wars was not on was on Cox Cable. It was on KTLA. It was not on any channels my parents had. It was only available at my grandmother's house. And so when I would go to stay at her place for the weekend, that was when I got to watch Beast Wars, which meant it was the only time that I was ever by myself. I am a child of 6. I'm one of 6 kids. So like that was like one of the few times where the TV was mine. I got to make the call, and it was one of those like dial TVs too. Like this is an old television set where you're like clicking things over manually, you know. And Beast Wars was like my first show where it was like I discovered something cool, and my brother didn't show it to me. It was just something I found, so it was all mine. So, and then, you know, when I got older, the action figures, you know, popped up in the Target or whatever, and I have a bunch of those. I recently had to go buy a spare arm for my Dinobot action figure because his other one was swinging too loosely, so I went on eBay and bought a spare part. So, yeah, I don't know. It's got a special place in my heart because it's tied to a lot of memories from my childhood.
I love that. Honestly, like, I just can see the amount of passion that you really do have for these characters and for this world of Transformers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then, of course, the rest of the Transformers is actually great, which I got into eventually. But my my jumping on point was this really bizarre, weird CGI show made by the guys who made Reboot. Like, it's not good CGI. It's rough. It's not as bad as Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong's some of the worst CGI I've ever seen. Donkey Kong, the TV show on like the Family Channel, but it was ahead of its time. It really pushed the boundaries of what CGI could do. So, for a guy who does only hand drawing type stuff and really wants to be in hand drawn animation, it's surprising that the show I latched onto is such a CGI thing. But it's where it is.
And yeah, passions can spring from anywhere and anything, and doesn't necessarily have to have a specific correlation, but it's what inspires you at the end of the day. Yeah. But yeah, I want to say thank you again for coming in and joining us. If you want to drop in and where our listeners can find you.
Yeah. I have a podcast. It's called Sneaky Geek. I have another podcast. It's called The Starlight Archive. And you can find me on basically any social at BryceRankins. And if you can't find me there, then re-listen to that, and I'm sure you'll get it right eventually. Beyond that, I do social media for the Comic Book Hideout, so you see all of my silly videos all the time anyway if you're following the Comic Book Hideout, which I recommend you do because it's a great story.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.